Good morning, friends. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining this session on Excel tips and tricks. I thought of sharing this with you all so that we can share our knowledge of past experience in Excel. And the whole idea was to keep it very short. Before I start, just let me tell you that this is not on basics of Excel, but more bent towards some advanced tips and tricks, as you can see on the screen. So I expect the audience out there to know some basics of Excel already, and we'll just discuss on the advanced portion. So let me move forward. To start with, I'll start with something called advanced basics. Now, this is like an oxymoron. And if you don't know what is an oxymoron, do go and search about it. What's an oxymoron? So oxymorons are basically exactly opposite meaning words about together. So like when I say advanced basics, I'm saying it's advanced as well as basics. So what is advanced basics? So it's kind of oxymoron. Again, whether that's a right, correct English word or not, I'm not very sure. But yeah, that's what I thought of adding in the slide. To start with, I'll just quickly brief you about what is filtering, what is sorting, what are pivot tables, what are VLOOKUP, what is a lookup, and how do we use that. This would be a basic to just for a warm-up exercise for all of us, so that we can move towards more tips and tricks that I wanted to share with you. To start with, let's first understand what is filtering, what is sorting, what's a pivot table, how do we use it in a very brief manner, and what's a VLOOKUP, and what are the challenges that we actually face while using a VLOOKUP. So I have created some data out here, which we will be using for our purpose. So if you can see my screen, there are two data sheets. One is data 1 and the other one is data 2. So I'm going to use these data sheets to actually tell you and show you how do we use a filtering. So now what is a filtering? Filtering is something that if I want to pick some data out of this sheet, how do I see that? Say for example, now this data, I'll just help you read through the data. So these are some data of a particular company which has a lot of products. So the first column is whether a particular product is a bulk or a retail. So there are two categories of a product in this company. One is called bulk, other is called retail. So if you see this list, there are a lot of line items. So approximately there are some 2000 line items in this sheet, and the category of products have been divided into two parts, that is either bulk or retail. Followed by there's a month, then there are some registration numbers, some territory code, some account number, some bill to ID, customer type, etc. What I'm interested right now is I wanted to see what are the bulk, what is the bulk portion, what is the retail portion, based on the product code and the product description. Post the product description, I have liters and the kgs, that is the volume of the product. So say for example, if I ask someone what is the total number of liters that this company has on this date as per this sheet, what I can do, obviously if I add all the liters, you can see that at the bottom of my screen, it's somewhere around 228,000 liters, right? Now if someone asks how much is bulk, right? If someone is asking how much is bulk liters only, how do I do that? I use a filter. So the shortcut for filter is Alt DFF, as was seen in the screen. Alt DFF. Now there can be multiple other shortcuts which one can use definitely, but this is what I use. And if you go to Google, there would be multiple different shortcuts that you can use. Now the another shortcut which is very important is for selecting this whole row. Now how do I select the whole row? I press shift plus space. If I press shift plus space, my whole row gets selected. Friends, when you're using Excel, the more you use the keyboard, the faster will be your work. And let me tell you, it looks difficult when we try to learn or memorize the shortcuts, but once you start using it, every time you use your Excel, just try to think, is there a shortcut to do this through a keyboard? And if you do not know, go to Google, just find out a shortcut, start using it. I bet you once you have used it for 3 to 4 times, definitely you will get it immediately. It will automatically come in your hand and you'll become very fast in Excel. So I'll repeat, I just used shift space to highlight it, and then I press Alt DFF. You see the filter is ready. Now I can just filter and see, select the bulk and see what are the bulk products. So once I've done that, now my liters has dropped down to 1,44,000, right? Interesting, right? Now, once I filtered a data, how do I unfilter it? So there are two options. One, I press again Alt D FF. But with this, what is happening? My filter option is gone completely. If you see, the filter option is gone completely. Instead, if I want to, again, I'm filtering it, Alt D FF. Instead, once I filter data, say for example, I select a particular month, March 2019. Now I have data for March 2019. I just want to unfilter this data and I wanted to filter something else. So I don't want to remove that option completely. The shortcut for that is Alt A C. You see, when I press Alt A C, automatically it gets unfiltered and I can see the complete data. But my filter option doesn't go away. I can still filter whatever I wish to. So this is something very interesting. A lot of people don't use it. Please note it down. Alt AC. Alt AC will help you unfilter the data without removing the filter option completely. Second important, which I wanted to share, was sorting. We need to sort the data n number of times while we do. If we see here, we see bulk, then there is something called retail, then again there is bulk. So this data is not sorted. Now if I want to sort based on my bulk and retail, it's a very simple shortcut, Alt D and S. Alt and D stands for data and S for sort. As soon as you reach sort, you can just go and select how do you want to sort. Say I select bulk and retail and I do in alphabetical order, A to Z. I press OK, it gets sorted. I hope this is clear and you guys are enjoying. If you have any questions, do type on chat and would be happy to answer. Right? Moving forward, sorting is done. Now, little bit about pivot tables. Now, what is a pivot table? Pivot table is basically assembling the data in a beautiful. Continue the same example. When I asked you how many liters are there in total and what is the breakup of bulk and retail, this can be easily seen from a pivot table. So I just need to select the data. Now selecting the data is very important. How do you select the data? You press Control, Shift and right arrow. It will select the whole at the end of that particular session. And then you press again Control, Shift and down arrow. It will select the whole data. Now for creating a pivot table, the shortcut is again Alt D, that is data, P, that is pivot. Once you get the pivot wizard, just you need to press on next and your pivot is created. Now I just pull my bulk and retail in the row column and I pull my liter data in the value. And you can see the breakup. What we did manually through filtering, the pivot gives you the answers immediately. So that is a very, very interesting tool that one should use. Okay, I think there is a question that has come up. What is the shortcut for selecting a row? Definitely. So shortcut for selecting the row is Shift plus space. I repeat, you need to press Shift and then press space. That means you are selecting a particular row, right? So we are done with tables. Next is VLOOKUP. Now what's a VLOOKUP? Which is used to actually find a particular data in a large string of data. Say for example, now I'll show you how do I create that. How do I use VLOOKUP? As you can see in this sheet, I have lot of products, right? Like for example, one product is Luxol High Gloss Colors. And I have another sheet which again has lot of products. Now this sheet has the product. I'll remove the filter for you so that you can view it. I have a lot of products. Against that, I have the volume of each of the products, right? Now, if I want to match whether the volume here, that is in liters, is same in this sheet or not, how do I do that? Through a VLOOKUP, right? So I just go and type equal to VLOOKUP. I select a particular product, the lookup value. What do I need to find? I need to find this first product, comma, table array. Where do I need to find? I'll go there. I'll select the whole data. In VLOOKUP, you need to ensure when you're using VLOOKUP, the first column that you select, that should be similar to the lookup value that you're looking for. And then I select the second row and I select the whole table. Once I do that, I just press comma and I select the column number 2 because my volume data is in the second column, and I close the bracket. That gives me 1554, right? Now I just need to copy this and paste the formula. Now, while doing that, the interesting part is that when you see this, now there are multiple Luxol. I'll just filter and show you what is the problem with this data. I'll just filter first data Luxol high gloss colors. I filter. Now you see these are being repeated so many times and all have got the same value, right? Whereas if I go to data 2 and I select again gloss colors, again I have so many data and with different volumes. If you see, I have different month wise different volumes. I have retail and bulk wise different. Say for example, retail February 18, this particular product is 1540, and bulk February 18 for this same product is 460. So I have so much of data. Basically, these are called duplicates. But if you see in this, when I use a VLOOKUP, if all the data for all the months, it's showing as 1554 only. Why? Because this is a unique property of VLOOKUP. It always picks the first data that is available. It picks that particular format, right? Now the problem with this is, reason being, data is not unique. Now I'll teach you something related to VLOOKUP. Idea was not to show you what is a VLOOKUP because you guys know what is a VLOOKUP. How to create a unique. Now what I have done, I just created a unique here. So I give this column name as a unique. Now what is a unique? Okay, let me hide some columns so that it's easier for you to understand, which is not relevant. I'll just hide some columns. I have hidden some columns. See now, I have bulk and retail. I have the month, I have the description. Same data I have here. I have bulk, I have month, I have the product name, right? And the volume, of course. Now what I need to do, I need to create a unique. How do I create unique? The problem with the data repetition was because there were multiple months data in this data, plus there were either bulk and retail category, right? I'll just combine all those and create a unique. How I do that? I just create a unique in this manner. So I'll just type it again here, equal to, I select the first column, that is the bulk or retail. I use a symbol AND. So AND is called a concatenate, which actually adds two data together. Now I use AND, then I select the second column. Again, I use AND and select the third column. I get a unique. Now this data, this is a unique. Why is it a unique? Because it has my retail or bulk. It has the date. It has the product name as well. I did the same thing in this column, basically the same formula, and I did the same exercise in the other sheet. So I added all. Let me just expand this so that it's clear. Beauty, this unique and this unique is same, which I can easily use a VLOOKUP for. Now I use a VLOOKUP, select the unique, go to the other data, select the unique again, go to the volume, select the whole array, and I press the column number 4, 0, because I need the volume, right? Sorry, column number 5. Okay, column number 5, I get 1540, and I select this and just paste it, right? Now if you see, let me select Luxol high gloss colors and show you. You see, last time it was all 1540. Now you get all the unique values. Isn't that interesting, guys? Please comment on chat box if that was interesting, or if you have any question. There is a question, are all descriptions unique? No, it wasn't. That is what I told you. Descriptions were not unique. That is the reason we had to create a unique so that we could use the VLOOKUP properly, right? Now, friends, let me move forward to questions for now. The interesting part is that we used VLOOKUP, right? Okay, I think there is a question. Okay, it's interesting. Yes, it's interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very interesting. Let me move forward. We used VLOOKUP, right? Lookup. Similarly, there is something called HLOOKUP, horizontal lookup. Problem with VLOOKUP is that it always moves from left to right, right? Like for example, we had our uniques created on the left side. I created a unique even on this sheet, right? Even on this column, but I could not use this. Reason being, lookup always moves from left to right. I cannot use a data point on the right side of it, right side of my data, and actually use it for doing a VLOOKUP. So I'll just copy paste this unique out here. When I do this, I cannot put a VLOOKUP and start selecting from here, and I go backwards and try to select the negative columns, right? Now to solve that, there's a very beautiful command which is called lookup. Now we all know VLOOKUP. Similarly, we can use a lookup as well. I'll show you how. I'll just type lookup value. My lookup value is this unique, right? Comma, lookup vector means basically the array from where I need to find it. I go there. Now I need not select an array completely. I just need to select a particular column. What do I want to look up? Just this column. That's it. I just selected only column B, comma, result vector. That do you want as a result? I can just go and select the volume column anywhere. So left, right doesn't matter. I'll just select the volume column. Okay. Yes. Comma 0 would not be there. You see 1276 comes. Which means I need not actually select the whole data. And first disadvantage of VLOOKUP is that when I selected these 5 line items, I had to remember which column number my data was there. So that was 5th column number, right? In case of lookup, I need not do that. I just select my search area and then I select my result area. So this is my result area. I'll straight away get the volume. Isn't that interesting, guys? Let me know. Similar manner. So, okay, moving forward, we'll move forward to the next one. Okay, one interesting part that I moved. So I spoke about lookup. I spoke about creating uniques, and now there's something if error. Now, if you see, at times when we use a VLOOKUP, we get a lot of errors, right? We get a lot of errors. Okay, you see this NA. So NA basically means that this data is not found there. But if I try to total this data, I would not be able to do because of the errors. Now, how do I remove these errors? There's a beautiful command called if error. So I need to use if error and then start my same VLOOKUP formula or lookup formula. With this, so I'll just add here if error and at the end, comma 0. So the command says if there's an error, what do I do? If there's an error, I'm telling the command, please give the result as 0. You see, error has turned to 0. Now, so I can just copy paste this formula and you see all the errors have become 0. I can easily get the sum total. Interesting, guys. So you should have a habit of using if it. So someone is saying, does it work between two different sheets too? This would work because VLOOKUP can be put in the same sheet as well as from different sheets. Interesting, never used only lookup till now. It is always VLOOKUP. Yes. That's the beauty part. I think in 2016, Excel came up with this feature. So VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP is old now. You can always use lookup. Yes, lookup can be used in different sheets file. Definitely, you can use lookup in different sheets as well. It's just like VLOOKUP similarly, right? Moving forward, I think that was a good warm-up exercise. I hope you guys are enjoying. If you are enjoying, please comment yes on the comment section so that I know that yes, you are enjoying it. And any questions, feel free to ask. Yes, thank you very much. Let's move forward. Other slides. Now, all this was a warm-up section. I just wanted to ensure that we all are on the same page. Now I'll talk about something very interesting that I want to. So I'll just quickly run you through the sheet, through the PPT ones, and then straight away jump into the Excel sheet. One is cell styles. Second is your value paste special options. Third is your data validation. Fourth, cell name manager. Fifth, format cells. Followed by that, some date formulas, evaluate formulas, and goal sheet. Now, some of you may already be using these, but I'll show you how do we practically use this. And if you have never used these, you will enjoy this thoroughly. That I can promise. Okay, let me quickly jump to the pointers that I told you. Just ignore this whole sheet. Just focus on my words. Whatever I asked you to see, just see those, and you will learn a lot out of this. Okay, this is a data. This is a data of a company for 3 financial years. So obviously FY21 is an estimate, whereas others FY19, FY20 are real data, and there is a currency return over, right? So we have revenue, we have the variable cost, we have the margins, we have fixed cost, and we have the EBITDA and the EBITDA margin percentage, right? Now there are multiple things that I would cover in this simple data and teach you how do we use some very interesting features in Excel which can make your life very easy. And the first, I've written everything here. First is called cell styles. Now, what is cell style? Cell style is something that you can create for a particular data. You can always create for a particular data that you want to use regularly. Say, for example, you see this heading is something in blue and white, right? Now, this I call it as a cell style that I want all my headers in my data, in my sheet, in the same style. So what I'll do, I'll create a cell style. The shortcut for cell style is Alt H J. You see, Alt H takes you to home, and then J is for cell style. I have created a cell style called header. I have created a cell style called input. So as soon as I click on header, it changes. Now I see this data. I wanted a cell style using that header in this company and the years as well. So I click on Alt H J. I click on custom header and it changes. See the beauty? So if I'm using a data, in fact, I've not made it center aligned. That is why it has moved out. That even that can be done. The beauty of cell style is that you can have multiple cell styles ready in your worksheet, which you use regularly. Next time, any such kind of change, you need not select that data, go and change the font, go and change the size, go and change the boldness or italic or underline. You can just keep it in Alt H J as different cell styles in your own names. I've created two. One is input cell, one is the header, and I'm using it. Now, how do I create that? Very easy. You can go to new cell style. You can select the name of the cell style. I'll put someone's name. Say, for example, I call it currency style. So currency, I go to formats. I go to font, just it's normal font. I say, okay, all my currencies should be in Arial black. It should be size 14. And I don't need a border. It should be filled with blue color. Okay, no problem. Done. And I say, let's make it currency 1. Okay. Now I want to use this. This is a currency. Yes. Alt H J. I just click on currency and it changes. See the beauty? And I can use all the comma formats, whatever I wish to. Okay. I'm undoing it. I hope you learned that. So cell style is something that you should use. Presently, I have created two. One is the header and one as the input cell out here. Yes. Let me see. Yes. This is amazing. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. This is amazing. Thank you. Okay. Moving forward. Now, something I'll teach you about paste special operations, right? We all know what is a paste special. Say, for example, there's a formula in this column. I want this number to be pasted here. I just copy it. I go and do a paste special. What is the shortcut for paste special? Control Alt V. It will open a dialog box for paste special. We generally click value or I type V. So you see, there are a lot of underlines in all. Those are the shortcuts. The underline is V, so the shortcut is V. I'll repeat. I copy. I go to a particular cell. I press Control Alt V. The dialog box opens. I press V again. I press Enter. So the value is copy pasted. Now this formula has not been copied, right? Simply if I copy this and paste here, the formula will be copied. Whereas if I do a value paste, the number gets copied. We all know all these, right? But I wanted to talk about something special, that is about operations. Now the question says add 10 lakh to other cost in all the years, right? Now what is the other cost? Basically the fixed cost. You see 25. This is 25 crores, 60 crores and 80 crores. I want to add 10 crores, all of them. How do I do that? Using a paste special function in a single go. One option is I go to each cell, I add and I type 10 crores, right? Instead, what I'll do, I'll type here 10 crores. I type 10 crores. Okay. I type and I copy it. I go there, select the cell. I again press Control Alt V and then press on or select V values. And there's something called operation just below that, which normally people don't use it. But since I want to add, I'll just add, or I can press D if I want to add, or I can click on add. As soon as I do that, this 10 lakh value would be pasted in this, added and pasted on this, and it would be added to all. You see the beauty? My 25 became 35, that became 70, 60 became 70, and 80.5 became 90.5 crore. Isn't that amazing, guys? If I do the same operations once again, I can see that. So I'll just do this operations once again, just to show you. You see the 35 number would change to 45. I just go to value paste and I click on D, add, and it gets added simply, right? Okay, thank you. So, okay, moving forward, the third thing, so this was value paste operation. You can do the same thing. If you see here, whatever you wish to, you can copy and go to that dialog. You can add, multiply, divide, add, subtract, right? Next is change the symbol from positive to negative. Now, if you see, there's a formula out here, right? Revenue minus cost is my contribution margin, minus fixed cost is my EBITDA, correct? Now, what I need to do, the question says, why don't you change this all the cost to the negative symbol? Again, I can use value paste as a -1, and I'll simply go here, select it, value paste, value, and I'll multiply. Why multiply? If I multiply a number with -1, it becomes negative. It becomes negative. But I'll need to change the formula. Now I'll make it a sum formula. Interesting. So if I want to change the symbol of lot of numbers, I can always use as a -1, which would be really, really helpful practically actually when we use this, right? Okay, we'll move forward. Data validation, drop down list, and cell name manager. Okay, something very interesting to share with you guys. Okay. Okay, yes, Pradeep, you should be using this. And this is very helpful and saves a lot of time when we do that. Okay, next we'll move to data validation. Okay, drop down list. How do I create a drop down? See, I've created a drop down list here. You see the currency, INR or USD. I created a drop down list. How do I create this? Very, very simple. There's something called data validation. So I need to go to a particular cell and I'll go to data validation. This opens up and I can just type anything, whatever I want. I've chosen list and I've written INR, USD. As soon as I did that and I pressed OK, there would be a drop down that will be created. I'll do in a fresh sheet and I'll show you fresh cell. Okay, I go to data validation, I select list and I type, say INR, USD, Australian dollars. Okay, you see the drop down is ready. If you want to give a sheet to someone and don't want them to input their own values, you can use this drop down and it can be very helpful in multiple. Say when you want the user to only input certain levels of data, right? Then I've kept a exchange rate and then a conversion through a formula, simple formula, right? Now I'll show you something. So this was a drop down that we can use using a data validation. Now there's something called cell name. Now if you see this data, conversion ratio has come. I have named this cell as conversion. Now how do I name a cell? See, generally you see my cursor, I have highlighted or selected a cell H3, and if I go and see this, it's written H3, right? What I did, I went to I3 and changed this to conversion. I can do that for any cell. I go there, I simply click on this and type it as con. Now this cell becomes con and it becomes permanent for this whole worksheet. I can use in any of the sheets. I'll show you how do we use it and why is it so interesting. What I did, I named this conversion factor as conversion. Now, as soon as I click on INR, you see this changes to INR and the numbers. What I'll do, I'll use this conversion factor to change my numbers. So how do I do that? I'll simply click on this data equal to multiply conversion. You see, now when I'm typing conversion, it comes as a formula, but this is not a formula. This is a reference to that particular cell name, whatever you have referred to. So when I type this number into conversion and press enter, it changes. Now I need to simply go and change it to USD. My conversion factor changes. You see my number changes from INR to USD. So what was INR as 5 crores has changed to 7 million USD. Interesting, right? That was 50 crores, it changes to 7 million USD, correct? So similarly, I can just go and multiply with conversion into all the cells. Interesting, guys. So this can be very, very useful for all of us when we actually create this kind of conversion factor and we want to see the same report into multiple currencies. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. And second, moving forward, I'll move a bit faster now since we are moving forward. Now, for example, now you see the growth. How do we calculate a growth? What we have shown, okay, FY21 revenue vis-a-vis my FY19 revenue is 3 times. Now, obviously, this looks very simple. I just divided cell number E5 by C5, which is 3.2 times. Now, to make it more beautiful, there's something called custom format cells. We all know what is a format cell, and the shortcut for format cell is Control-1. I press Control-1. My format cell option opens. I go to the number tab, click on customs. Now the interesting part I'll show you again. This 3.2, generally how do you call it? I would call it, okay, I have grown from FY19 to FY21 3 times, right? 3 times. How do I write times? Do I write 3.2 times in the next column? It doesn't look good, right? How would it be if I could write 3.2 times along with this, or 3.2x? But I can't do that with a formula, because with this formula I cannot type anything, or maybe I need to write this way, right? Times. Does it work? Yes, it works. I can use a concatenate and write times, but again this is a manual job, right? Instead of doing that, there's a beautiful command. I'll again press Control-1. I'll go to customs. Now there are multiple features which we can use out here. This one is very simple. I'll just go and type 0. 0 is a number, and I press X. You see the sample 3x, and it will show you 3x. Now this shows what is the growth. This is 1x growth. This is 3x growth, and EBITDA growth is approx 2x. Isn't it beautiful, guys? So you can simply show your data, or instead of x, I can just write times because x looks better. So I use x. It's all up to you. This is a format change. That's it. If you see, press F2, the number and formula is as it is, but it does not show you how did x come. If you okay, now we always do when we try to match the balance sheet or when we do control checks. Even in that case, we can use, say for example, I put a formula out here, whether revenue minus variable cost minus fixed cost minus my EBITDA should be 0, right? Now this 0 doesn't look good. This 0 doesn't look good. Okay, this is a sum check, so I put a check formula. But if I show it to someone and send it a report, this 0 doesn't look. I can use a custom format even for this and make it, say for example, I use this for 0. So the format of this is positive, negative, and 0, right? So if it is positive, okay, let me once show you. I go to customs. See, well, I have created one for you. If it is negative, if it is positive, give in red color, message error. If it is negative, still red color. And if it is okay, that is 0, that means it is okay, blue okay. And I use this custom format, you see okay. If you see the formula stays same, but for your report, it says okay in blue color. And suppose if I change a number out here, okay, which does not work. Okay, let me just add 10 here, which will not match now. See, it throws error. Actually, it's either negative or positive. If you want a negative error or positive error, you can change that as per your wish, right? Moving forward, I hope that is useful. Even control mechanisms. Evaluate formula. Evaluate formula is nothing. Basically, if you want to evaluate a particular formula, say for example, this formula, I want to see what is the formula result. You can use F9 for within the cell. You basically go to press F2, edit mode. You can select a particular formula, press F9, and you can see the result out there. This is a way of evaluating a formula, right? The other way of evaluating a formula step by step is you need to press Alt MV. Alt MV will tell you evaluate. It will take you to that formula You can see the formula C7 plus minus C9, and you can click on evaluate. It will solve the formula one by one for you so that you can see. See, it solves the first number, C7. It solves the second number. Then it gives the results. Then it will add 10 and give you the output. You can again restart and see. Step by step, you can see what is the formula that you have used and how can you actually. Yes, guys, hope you are enjoying this and a lot to learn. If anyone tells you that they know everything about Excel, I'm telling you, they're wrong. They're completely wrong, because no one, it's like an ocean. मैं कहता हूँ जैसे अथाह है ये. The more you learn, more you get to know. I have been using Excel since last 10 years, but still I learn on a daily basis something or the other, and this is something very interesting learning that I want to share with you guys, which you can use. Moving forward, let's continue the journey. Quickly before we wrap up, there are some more things that I want to share. There are two formulas in Excel, which is a ready-made formula. It's called E-date and EO month, end of month, which is very useful practically, especially for finance people. E-date is simple. Suppose there is a number. Okay, I'll copy this. Suppose there's a date 31st March and I want to create something like it. Okay, I'll create it here. Let's assume this is 31st March 2019. I'll click and I want this yearly data. I'll click E-date. I'll select the last date, start date, comma, number of months. I need 12 months. It will give me exactly after 12 months what is the date. And I'll change the format to date format. Okay, you see that? And just copy the formula. So this is 12 months. If I select 1 month, I can create a monthly data. Okay, let me click this. Okay, now you see this. If I want to create a report in which there are monthly data, I can use the formula E-date. It will give you exactly 1 month end of date. Now, sometimes what happens, sometimes we have a date, say for example, 25th of March. And I need to calculate interest till end of this month or maybe next month, right? For that, suppose I want to end this month. I want a date of end of April. If I use an E-date, what it will do, and I press 1, and that is after 1 month. Let me change the format. See what happens. It takes me exactly 1 month from this particular date, since I selected E-date, ending date. In this case, we use end of month. If I use EO month, end of month, and select start date and comma 1 month, it will give me end of April, that is 30th April. You see the interesting part? Sometimes your start date is middle of a month, but you want the end of the month date. It's very useful when you want to calculate interest, or maybe you start a new company. First year is for part period, but the following months or years are in full months. Then you can use a combination of E-date and end of month. Interesting, guys. So even this is a very useful and practical usage of this particular formula. Last but not the least on this, we'll use something called goal seek. Now, show you goal seek. It's very interesting. Now, what is the question? It says, at what fixed cost the company will break even in FY19? Now, I need to know. There are two ways of it. I know this is the loss. I can go and change the fixed cost to some amount and get EBITDA as 0. Break even means obviously EBITDA needs to be 0, right? So, if EBITDA needs to be 0, obviously the fixed cost should be such. We make it INR back. Okay. Now, if you see, okay, my fixed cost is 25 crores and my EBITDA is 5 crores. Obviously, manually, we all know that if we change this, if we increase the fixed cost by 5 crores, it will become 0, right? But how do I use it? Using a goal seek, which is actually helpful when there's a huge number of formulas, right? So what I do, I just press Alt T and G. It's a very simple tool. You need to set the cell, that is EBITDA, what to value 0, because I want to see when does it break even, by changing which cell, which is asking which cell do you want to change. I want to change the fixed cost. So if I change the fixed cost and press OK, it will do the working for me. See, it changed from 25 crores to 30 crores. Interesting, guys. So the question was, at what fixed cost the company will break even in FY19? The answer is 30 crores. But you need to remember, once you use this, it becomes permanent. It's not that you can change and use this continuously. It's only for experiment. So you do not use goal-seek in your real data, which you just want to know the answer for a particular time. You can copy that data and do it. Of course, this can also be automated where this does not paste completely, but you need to use macros for that. Interesting, guys. I hope that was really good. Goal-seek can be used when there's a huge long formulas to actually solve tough equations, right? Post this, I think I'll take you to the PPT again. We completed the goal-seek evaluate formula. Last but not the least, a few of the shortcuts that I wanted to share with you. That's control space for column selection, shift space for row selection, which we did. Okay, I'll show you something. Okay, one last interesting portion that I want to share with you was the use of true and false. Now, what's true and false, right? True is equal to 1. So in the language of computers, everything is converted into 0 and 1, right? It's called binary. Either it's 0 or it's 1. There's no decimal place, nothing. So say, for example, if I say I am Rahul, even I would be converted into multiple strings of zeros and ones, and then that's the computer language that they use. Excel also understands that 0 and 1 very, just leave it that to you to think through it. How can we use in Excel these 0 and 1? I'll show you some example. Now this true in Excel, true means actually 1 and false means actually 0. Why? I'll tell you. If I type here true, okay, that's true. How does it matter? If I multiply by 1, what should be the answer? The answer is 1. If I write false and I multiply by 1, answer is 0. Why so? Because I told you true means 1. So 1 into 1 is 1 and false means 0. 0 into 1 is 0. Now you see, I've done the same thing. True into 1, false into 1, right? So true means 1, false means 0. Why am I telling you about this true and false is very, very interesting. Let me show you. Sometimes what happens, we need to check. Say, for example, I want to check whether 5 lakhs, okay, I'll type 5 lakhs. And then there's an input cell, say, for example, 6 lakhs. And someone wants to write a query that if 6 lakh is greater than 5 lakhs, whether tell me it is true or false, right? One way is obviously you can write if 6 lakh greater than this, then what happens? Then tell me true or false. I just want to check true or false, right? This is one way. The other way could be, I simply know this works anyways. So this is greater than this. This is true, right? In this true, I wanted, suppose if I wanted, what happens if it is true? If I want to use this in a formula, I'll simply multiply this true with 1 and I get a number 1. Or even if I don't do that, I know true is 1. And if I want to use this number, if it is true, you give him an award of say 10,000. So I did a check whether it is true. Yes, it is true. Then I'll simply multiply this with 10,000. So I need not use this if formula at all. If I use a if, still I get the same value and I multiply this true into this. Of course I can do, but instead of writing such a long formula, I can always use this. It can be used in multiple different ways using and or functions. Say, for example, I just write and this is greater than this. It again says true. Similarly, or functions can be used. Why I'm telling you this? When there are a lot of formulas in a single sheet, the more number of loops that you create under if, because sometimes the formulas are so complex that you end up using 8 to 10 ifs within ifs, right? When you use that, the file becomes very, very heavy, and the system may not work really well, especially in Excel. In that case, if you can use true and false to a larger extent using and or, you can actually save a lot of energy of Excel and your bandwidth of your system, and actually which will help you use a lot of formulas. So this is something very interesting that I wanted to share with you all. Finally, some shortcuts that I wanted to show you. One was, of course, which I've already told you. If I need to select the whole row, shift space. If I need to select the whole column, control space. If I want to adjust the width, of my cell. You see this number is not visible. How do I adjust? One option is of course go and click, double click on that cell edges. Other is when you use Alt H O I. I'll repeat, Alt H O I. So if I see this, the text would not be visible. I just go there, select the whole column, Alt H O I. You see that? So that is very interesting for finance people, especially when we work with a lot of numbers. Suppose there is a number, you can see this number. Now this number is not readable, right? It's very difficult to read this number. Now how do I want that comma format? How do I use? I can go and click on this, or I can press Control Shift 1. If I press Control Shift 1, it will convert into number format. You see the number has changed to number format, and but the problem with this that it will always give two places of decimal. Now how do I remove those places of decimals? One, I can increase and decrease using my mouse, but as I told you, if you want to be a pro in Excel, you have to use keyboard as much as possible. The shortcut for that is Alt H N. Alt H N, but that removes one by one. If you want to bring it back, Alt H O. So that is very useful, especially for finance people who deal with numbers all the time. You want that comma format and remove those, so Alt H O. So I covered cell number format. Okay, decimal place or height column. Okay, this is very interesting. A practical use, I'll tell you. If you're using a sheet only to this level, right? Say for example, I have only this data in my MIS. I have last column as 30th May. After that, I don't have anything. Sometimes what happens, if I'm running across the sheet, I just click Control and right arrow. It takes me, and from here, if I click it, sometimes it takes me to the end of the sheet, and then I have to jump back. And this creates a lot of problem at times, right? You all have faced practically this issue. Simply what I do, I'll just select the whole area, right? I'll select the whole column and hide it. How does this help? You need not always, so suppose I'm this cell, I just need to want to go to the end of the sheet, I just click right arrow and stops there. I can always unhide it, but this is a good practice to hide the rest of the sheet if you know this is my area where I want to work. So most of my sheets, when I try to work, I try to hide the rest of the cell columns, so that which is very, very useful practically, right? Guys, hope you enjoyed this session, and let me know if you want me to cover any other topic. This was very interesting. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to post, comment, or email me whenever you wish to.